presentation we can hear the next presentation now from our not-for-profit group, Fit Oshkosh. Fit Oshkosh has been coming a couple of times, and they've been patient. All right, so the third time is the charm.
So, oftentimes people hear our name and they think that we're a health club, and then they see me and say, probably. I've got a lot of personalities lately. So what we are is we're a nonprofit organization founded right here in Oshkosh, Wisconsin in July of 2014. So we're just shy of our 2-year-old birthday. And what we do is we provide racial literacy education throughout the Fox Valley and as well as other states in the country. Racial literacy is a skill that is critical to communities like ours, and we'll learn a little more about that from some programming that we're going to talk about. But what we've been doing is we've been partnering with some organizations that you're very familiar with. We've done some training at the Oshkosh Police Department, at the Oshkosh Area School District, at the Winnebago Literacy Council, at Miller Electric, at UWO, at St. Norbert's, to name a few. So although we've only been in business since 2014, we've trained well over 2,000 people in our community to rave reviews. We want to talk to you tonight about a very specific program that we'd like to bring to Oshkosh in partnership with West High School. So I've asked the principal of West High School, Erin Kohl, to come up and talk to you a little bit about that program.
Thank you, Tracy.
You're welcome.
Hello, everyone. I'm Erin Kohl. I'm the principal at West High School. And I kind of wrote something down so I wouldn't forget things, but just wanted to start out by saying I'm about to paint kind of a little bit of a negative picture of West High School, but I want to start out by saying that West really is a great school. We have so many great things going on. We have the best students in the state, in the country probably, so a lot of great things going on at West. But just like any school, we also have our issues, and one of our significant needs is for our staff and students to really be educated in the area of racial literacy. Our student population is 87% white, with just over 3% of students identifying as black. In addition, out of a staff of almost 200, only 3 members of our staff do not identify as white. So obviously there's a significant lack of exposure and a significant lack of understanding of people of color. That's very widespread at West. This year in particular, it's my 3rd year at West, and my eyes were really open to the fact that our students of color don't experience the same level of respect and acceptance that all students and really all human beings deserve. The first realization that there was a big problem at West came to me in February when almost 30 of our students of color attended the African American Heritage Leadership Conference in Appleton. That conference was sponsored by multiple school districts in the Fox Valley, in the Green Bay area, and also by our school district. The students who attended came back so invigorated. They said that it was one of the most empowering and inspirational events they had ever attended in their lives. Unfortunately, their sense of pride and excitement quickly turned into anger and frustration when students faced derogatory comments at school and racist posts on social media about the event. So they agreed to partner with us for 2 purposes. One was to help us get a new diversity club off the ground, and another was to do some training with our staff in August prior to us going back to the school year next year. The Diversity Club was started by one of our assistant principals and our school resource officer in collaboration with a few of our students at West. And really the purpose of the club is to promote those courageous conversations about West, and ultimately we want to promote a heightened understanding, acceptance, and respect for all people. After the first session, Tracey had contacted me with some concerns because she just felt in that first session just this kind of negative energy in the room, and was concerned that our students of color were afraid to speak up, and she kind of felt this sense of almost like hopelessness, like this diversity club isn't going to change anything in the room. So she returned to West the following week after we had talked and had a private and very frank conversation with our students who had attended the conference and also the students who had attended some of the club meetings. And what she discovered was really quite disturbing and totally unacceptable. Here are a few of the points from that meeting. Many students experience offensive comments on a daily basis by other students. Many feel there are discrepancies in the discipline consequences between white and black students. Many students regularly hear racial jokes, the word nigger, and stereotypical comments such as, "You must like watermelon," or "Look at that black booty." Many students feel the teachers don't know how to handle situations that come up in the classroom, such as when racial comments are made in the classrooms. Teachers will tell other kids to stop, but that's all the further it goes. They won't take time to explain why it's wrong or take further action with the student. So obviously, our climate and culture at West, although I think is supportive for many of our students, is not supportive or safe for all of our students. Our student body does not have the knowledge and skills they need to understand and respect all of their peers, and our teachers and other staff members don't have the knowledge and skills they need in order to appropriately address racial issues that arise, and in order to teach and interact with students and families in a culturally responsive manner. As the principal at West, I refuse to accept this status quo. In talking with Fit Oshkosh, I learned about this film called I Am Not a Racist, Am I? And it became clear, and you'll learn a little bit more about the film here, it became clear that this could be a powerful experience for the entire West community, students, staff, and families, and can serve as a springboard for future conversations and the development of an action plan to help us really embark on a mission to ensure that all students at West are educated in a positive, nurturing, and safe environment. This project has the potential to impact 1,700 students and their families and 200 staff members immediately, and indirectly, the project has the potential to impact thousands of future students, staff members, and members of the Oshkosh community. So you'll hear a little bit more about the film right now, and thank you for your time.
And I bet I have a minute. My name is Marika. I'm the board president of Fit Oshkosh. I'm also a midwife, and I work with women and children. And I know that a white woman with no or virtually no high school education, sorry, I'm going to start over. A white woman with a master's degree who's wealthy, who accesses, I'm really getting it all mixed up. A black woman with a master's degree, a black wealthy woman with a master's degree, with a top-paying job, who eats well, who accesses health care. A black woman in that position has a higher chance of dying in childbirth than a white woman who does not have a high school degree. And that concerns me as a midwife, it concerns me as a parent, it concerns me as a parent in both high school age classrooms and also of a 7-year-old who's black. I want to see our community change, and I want to see it change quickly, and I want to see it change for those kids, because what we found is if you eliminate socioeconomic status, you still have this incredible racial disparity in outcomes, birth outcomes, life outcomes, cardiovascular disease, obesity. This film is a film about a group of students in New York who went through training and orientation around racial literacy, talking about race together for a year, and they filmed these kids' process of growing in their racial literacy abilities. And they were white kids and Latino kids and black kids, a real mixed group of 12 kids from a couple of different school districts. And they're now using that film throughout the United States to bring them into high schools to say, look what these kids did, look at their thoughts, look at how their lives have been changed by just the ability to talk about race. And if we're going to change outcomes, and it's not about socioeconomic status, we have to change the way we talk about race and the way we subject our kids to racialized content and damage as they grow up. Because we know, that the reason these kids are suffering as adults is because they grew up in a hostile, racialized environment from a very young age through their high school experience on into adulthood. So we would love to, for $5,000, we can bring the film, 2 filmmakers, which are amazing people, And we can do both a parent education the night before we show it in the school. We can do a faculty preparatory session to make the faculty ready to answer these kids' questions once they've seen the film. And then all the kids in the school can see the film. And many school districts across the country have found that this left powerful impact for these kids for the rest of their lives. So I bet I'm done. 1 minute for questions.
So if we have a minute, I'd like to say one thing. I bet you're thinking, well, how does this concern me? I'm not a person of color. I maybe don't even have kids in school, right? I hear people say that all the time. This is not my concern. I'm not a part of the problem, so this is not my concern. Here's what you need to know. So the nation is diversified. The U.S. Census Bureau predicts that within the next 30 years, the number of people who identify as a person of color will increase, and the number of people who identify as white decreases. So what does that mean? That means that Oshkosh is going to diversify. Of course, the nation is diversifying. Certainly, Oshkosh is diversifying a lot slower, but that change is going to come. And that has a huge impact on us as a community because the way we've done things historically, the people we've reported to, the people who reported to us, the people who work for us and alongside us are going to change. Our family trees are going to change. The likelihood that someone that you love is going to partner with a person of color increases because it's a sheer numbers game. There are fewer people that are not a person of color to partner with. They may not procreate, they may not marry, but certainly they're going to spend some romantic time with someone who's a person of color. So we all need to do this work. We all need to change this narrative around race, how we're engaging it, how we're experiencing it, how we're colluding with it, how we're colliding with it, and how we're contributing with it. So we hope that you will consider our proposal to bring this film to our community to make that tremendous impact.